I can never get the car to do this. What's going on, YouTube? Q back here again with another video. In today's video, it's another Camaro video, obviously. That's the way the channel is going. But today, we have a special guest. We have the TheTopher over here. So
face reveal. You got it here first.
Exclusive behind the scenes. I just found this channel. Shame on me. He's local in Michigan. Does car reviews of all things. I checked out a few of his videos. Kia GT Stinger. I saw the Camaro that was just on their last Navigator. I saw a Lexus you just did. Awesome channel. I'm about to binge watch that. So do me a favor, go subscribe to his channel. Amazing channel. Point of views, good stuff.
All point of views. I look kind of like an idiot filming, but that's okay.
I'm here learning from him because my point of view drives kind of suck, and this is how you do it. A hat. I don't even wear hats. Race car friends gave me a hat. Shout out to Race Car Friends. Thank you very much. My only hat. So today we're about to hop behind the wheel of the ZL1. I'm not driving. We're going to get his views on it because this is a manual Camaro and there's not a lot of people that drive these. So we're about to go for a spin in it. So before you leave, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, browse the channel. Let's jump into today's video.
All us Detroit YouTubers have to stick together. Everyone's moving out to California.
Right. Stay in Michigan.
I know. Oh, man. We're going to disturb the peace tonight. I love it. All right, so you've got wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, a simple driver-focused cockpit. This manual transmission feels awesome. Electronic parking brake, traction control off, bunch of different drive modes. I see it's defaulted to start up in sport mode. Any recommendations for settings?
Track,
okay.
So
all right.
Throttle response will be a bit more crisp.
Yep.
The steering will be very heavy, so if you don't want the heavy steering, we can change it to always be in sport mode.
Okay.
So sport.
Okay, that's easy. Cool. Yeah, I always love the simplicity of these Camaros. Like, you get cooled, heated seats, pretty decent stereo. Love this carbon fiber here.
Oh yeah.
It's just focused, simple, and it just works. It's a great formula. And you know, honestly, after driving around a Supra for a little bit, the visibility in here isn't bad. I bet you get used to it pretty quickly.
You do get used to it.
Yeah.
It's not a, I just made a video, it's not a problem. It's overblown. Like if you spend 10 minutes in here,
yeah,
like it'll be an issue, but living with the day to day. Set the mirrors. Woo. The sunroof helps too, because it's pretty dark in here, like cavernous, like a cave, but
no, this is just fine. I think it's something that a lot of journalists talked about early on, back when cars had better visibility, and now we have a lot of sports cars that are pretty tight, pretty, you know, like the Supra. This is just fine.
Want me to turn the AC on a little, or?
Yeah, we could probably, might as well be comfortable.
Right.
So I assume this also has the GM Performance exhaust.
Yes, it does. But now since MRT did my exhaust, it's always open now, so you can't close it.
Perfect. That's great. I mean, that's kind of how we all want it anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. Neighbors hate it, but
ooh, I love the steering feel. It's just, this is one of those cars, it's so fast and so capable, but it's also really fun to drive just normally. You get such great input from this car. Really nice steering feedback, perfect weight, the shifter is fantastic. It's such a crisper, more accurate car to drive than the Mustangs. Tell me a little bit about your ownership experience with the GT350.
The GT350, so I had a 2019, and those were the ones where it had the most up-to-date engine in it.
That was supposed to be the ticket. That was the car.
it's supposed to be the one, but mine's had the oil burning issue too. Like, between oil changes, I needed oil, and I didn't notice that initially, because when I first got the car, I got an oil change early. And the summertime, it was okay, but 1 January, I was just bone dry, just doing my routine maintenance. I never checked under the hood, but this day, I'm like, let me make a video and talk about the ownership. Check the air filter, check the oil. I'm like, oh my God, is that right? It was like a drop. So it's like, okay, let me schedule an appointment. The appointment was like 2 weeks later. And I'm like, okay, I need to find a different dealership. So that day I'm driving to the dealership. The car is just like sputtering along the way to where I had to pull over. I'm like, oh my God, I need to get it towed. But then at idle, it was fine.
As you were saying.
Yeah. So,
this makes you forget about that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I'm like, oh man, what GT350? But it was, I just took it to the dealership. I'm like, if the engine blows, they're gonna build a new one for me. It's still under warranty. Yeah. But you gotta check that thing. And I'm a lazy owner. I hate doing maintenance.
That's the nice thing about new cars, is that you get a warranty. And I feel like a GT350 is a car that is only something that most people are gonna want to own in warranty. And now it's kind of the time to do it, which is kind of a shame. And I've heard really good things about these ZL1s. They are so bulletproof. Some engineers that I know that do a lot of performance testing say that on track, this is one of the most reliable and insane cars they've ever tested. I mean, just the benchmarking is insane.
Yep, so good thing the ZL6 came out first. They had cooling issues. So with the ZL1, they refined a lot of things. Like, this doesn't have those same problems.
You've got rev matching.
Yep.
You can control that with the paddle shifters. It's always kind of strange to see paddle shifters on a manual car, but that's what it's for.
Like, why is that there?
And it works pretty well. Let's turn off that head-up display. All this real life Photoshop. Man, this is fun. This is a monster. It's interesting, you know, these Camaros haven't changed a ton since when they first came out, but they've just made little refinements, little tweaks that really do add up to make a big difference over time. I mean, this compared to the 2014 ZL1 that I drove, or maybe it was a 2013. It was early. This is such a more refined, easy car to drive, but it still has that brutality that hasn't gone numb. It hasn't lost its like flavor and that edge.
It's got character too. To me, it's like the ZL1 is like a Hellcat that really handles, like world-class handling. Yeah. And that's something you can't, for the price, you just can't find it.
The Hellcat's an awesome muscle car. Those things are so much fun. We drive them all the time at M1 Concours for thrill rides and stuff, but it's not a sports car. No. This is a sports car, like bordering on supercar. Yeah,
it is. And that's, I don't want to say that it is a supercar, but it's a supercar to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's got the performance. You get just a little bit of supercharger whine in there.
Yeah, I can never get the car to do this.
It's brutal, but it's so good.
Maybe adjust my camera. You got the legs on the camera like sideways. Some G-forces right there.
I'm gonna go buy this Prius. A little bit of throttle. Happy with this exhaust?
Love this exhaust.
It sounds so mean. MRT does a good job. They're about to do an exhaust on my BRZ. They're just going to do a simple axle back, keep it relatively toned down. This is
Gotta love MRT.
Yeah, they do a good job. I like supporting a local business too.
Yep.
Alright, let's turn off rev matching. Do it ourselves. Oh, that's the sweet spot. You get a little bit of trouble in this car.
Yeah.
I like it. Oh man, this thing is so good. I was looking at a lot of different cars instead of the BRZ, and at the end of the day, everything I was looking at was 60, 70 grand, and the BRZ was half that. And availability was tough, and tire availability was tough. One thing I really like to do is drive my sports cars in the winter, but something like this is really worth the price of entry.
I agree, man.
Yeah.
In the BRZ, in that price range, that'll be the top car that I do get. Rear-wheel drive, great manual, revs out.
Yeah, because you had an FRS for a little bit, didn't you?
I did.
Alright. One more entrance ramp, and then we'll hit some roads here. One thing GM does so well is their traction control system, their performance traction management. It's just so natural and so easy.
I say the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm a novice, but it keeps me safe.
Yeah, it makes you a better driver, and you can just kind of dial it up. You know, the more experience you get, you want a little bit more slip angle, you can do that. You take it out on track and turn everything off, or you can turn it to 5 or 4 or 3. It's like Forza, you know?
Yep.
It's great.
So it's got a ton of traction modes on here. I just don't know what they all do. Like if you double tap the traction control button, it's like competition mode, but I don't even know what all that crap does.
Yeah, wet works really, really well in the wet. Dry works well. Sport 1 is a little bit more slip angle, a little more aggressive. Sport 2 ramps it up even more, and then race is a little bit more aggressive. It's almost traction off, but it still will let you. It's like traction off, but stability control almost off. It'll still kind of break the front wheels and control that front end, but it'll let the tail kick out quite a bit.
Gotcha.
It's interesting. You get into one of these cars on like, GM's pretty good about loading out Camaros and CT4Vs and stuff on winter tires, and you play around with these in the snow, and you turn on the performance traction management, and you can really see what each system does in the snow without going crazy with speeds and on the street. And it's really amazing what they can do. It's just a dial. You can just dial it up or dial it down, and that's kind of what all those modes do. But it's cool because even a novice driver can enjoy this car and kind of grow with the car,
right?
Or a pro driver can get in this thing, turn everything off, or put it into race mode, and really like get a satisfying driving experience that's not hindering their speed or slowing them down on track. Yeah, it's awesome. It's legit.
All right, thanks for that, because I never gone into it, because I'm like, I need traction control on. I am not there yet.
If that's how you feel, then yes, better safe than sorry.
Yep.
There's a lot of power here, but it really does do a good job putting it down. I mean, these F1 Goodyear Eagles are they're a great tire. I don't know if they're still run flats, but they're pretty quiet. They ride nice. Yeah, this exhaust sounds good on the highway. There's not a lot of drone. It's pretty mild.
Yep, that's they'll mitigate the rest of the drone.
Yeah.
Cause like right there it gets pretty buzzy.
There's a little bit.
Yeah, I drive in 5th gear.
Just gotta get it ready for the bridges. I love this Alcantara steering wheel too. It's just the perfect thickness. You get into some of these cars, especially for BMW, and the wheels are this. Can't even wrap I don't have like huge hands, but I feel like I can't even wrap my hands around them and get a good grip on them. This is just great.
Right. I am shocked that that came from GM, like a performance car that's fun to drive. Based on their history, because I grew up I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. I'm used to seeing things like the Cadillac DeVilles and the Cavaliers. I'm like, man, that was trash. It came out with a lot of trash, but
these days, like, I mean, it's a lot of their mainstream stuff is still, it's okay, you know, it's whatever. But their performance division has been killing it for the last decade. Everything that's come out of GM Performance has been amazing. And even cars like the Volt and the Bolt, where they really, when they put their mind to stuff and they put their engineering time behind things, they do a really good job. It's just, you know, a lot of the mainstream products.
Yeah.
Some of them might be a little bit rushed, but that's okay. But if you're an enthusiast, you've got some great options with GM Performance. The brakes are so good. The pedal feel is just like perfect.
I didn't know you were a pro driver. I like how they tune those pops. That's like stock pops.
Yeah. So you get those from the stock exhaust too?
Yep.
That's awesome.
This adds just a little bit more bass and volume.
Okay.
Even in track mode, it's still pretty smooth too.
Yeah, no, they did a good job tuning the throttle response. Sometimes you put these cars into track mode and they just get throttle response just like way too crazy. But GM, I think, actually made this linear on purpose. And in sport mode, maybe you get a little bit more initial throttle tip in.
What?
It was over 16 when I started. That's pretty good.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, 14.2 over 2,000 miles. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That is pretty good.
Got grandma driving over here.
That's all right. I mean, I've heard these LS motors, or what is it? This is LT1?
LT1. What's the LT4? I get them confused.
I don't know. I mean, these GM V8s, they always get pretty impressive fuel economy on the highway, especially in Corvettes because they're so light and aerodynamic. But even the Camaros are pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Probably squeeze out over 20 on this on the highway. Not that it really even matters.
Never.
This thing. Every time you put your foot down, it's just.
Yep.
I appreciate that this still has a little bit, whereas some new cars, they've gotten rid of the supercharger line.
Yeah. That gives it character.
It does. So much character. So many G-forces. And the thing about this compared to the Mustang is it actually has steering feel. The Mustang it's gotten a little bit numb. The GT350 I think is the best out of all of them. But I remember back when Mustangs had a little bit more feel, and their electronic racks now are just, they feel like anything on the road. But this really just, it kind of talks to you.
Yeah, this is a much better driver's car.
Yeah, it is.
Suspension, it just feels so much better.
That's right, because this also has the back ride too. And that's pretty magical in its own right.
Right.
We're in track mode right now. Perfectly comfortable.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
The Mustang on uneven pavement, it just gets, I call it goofy, but it doesn't know where it wants to go, so it'll like kind of veer to one side.
Yeah.
Tram lines a lot. It's
There's a lot of tram lighting. You're right, there's no tram lighting in this. Barely any at all.
Yep, and the tires are the same size on both cars.
Yep. This is a square setup, 305s all the way around.
I think it's it might be 295 in the front,
okay,
and
right.
305s in the rear.
Right. That sounds about right, yep. Alright, so there's that limiting. You hear that limiter?
Yep.
Oh, that was sweet.
Man.
So I didn't want us to kick sideways.
Life saving. It'll save my life because I do not have the skill to counter steer yet.
Let's see what race does. I bet there's a launch control mode in this that'll just... Have you tried launch control in this yet?
I have not.
You want to?
Yep.
Alright, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. That was probably under 3 seconds to 60.
Man.
Wicked. Wicked. I was getting a little bit sleepy tonight. I'm no longer sleepy. I'm no longer tired. I just woke up. Wow. The GM performance stuff is just, it's so much better than everything else because of these systems. It enhances the driving experience instead of, like, you know, making it seem a little bit dumbed down. Oh, it's so good. That was fun.
That was really fun.
So the trick to that, traction off, double pressed, I put it in a track mode.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed to help.
Gotcha.
You probably don't have to have it in track mode. Maybe you could also put it into traction 1 or dry. But yeah, that launch control is just, it's brutal. It's wicked.
And it's always on. I don't even have to change anything like the RPMs.
No, I think it just figures it out.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in some cars you can adjust the revs where it launches, and maybe you can with this with the up-down switch when it's revved up. But yeah, it just went.
Man.
Yeah, we got some goosebumps. How's the turning radius? It's not bad.
Good.
It's okay.
Good. You got it.
I've seen better, I've seen worse. Gonna do one more?
Yeah. All right, 2 hands on the camera.
Wow. The no-lift shift is... that's something special. Wow. Not a lot of cars leave me speechless.
So how did you do the no-lift shift?
So you just leave everything down and just clutch it and bang into the next gear. And it'll kind of drop the revs automatically, but you hear it like pull timing a little bit because it goes and it's maintaining boost or power through the rev range, so you don't really like lose that power that you would from letting off the throttle and then putting the throttle back on. So it's kind of like seamless power while still not over revving.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. It's a terrible explanation, but you kind of
I understand it. Yeah. Man, that was great.
Yeah.
I
think it happens automatically in track mode, even if you don't do a launch. Like I remember in the CT4V Blackwing, you could just kind of no-lift shift whenever you felt like it.
That was great.
Yeah,
man.
that's pretty cool.
Blew the cobwebs off at that time.
Yeah, you know, a little Italian tuna.
Yep.
This is one of those cars that I just don't want to stop driving.
Man, this is
so fun.
And the limit on here is so high because I thought I would be terrified. I'm like, man, it's still flat, not losing traction.
It's super approachable. I mean, granted, once you get the tires warmed up, you got grip for days. When they're cold, it's probably a little bit sketchier. Like when we first got going, there was a little bit of traction control things happening in second gear, up to red line. But these tires really grip. That's the big thing that's happened in the last 15, 20 years since, like, let's say like the Viper, okay?
Yeah.
When we were in, I don't know, how old are you? When were you born?
I'll be 36 like next week.
Okay, I'm 33, so we're like late 80s, right?
Yep.
Man, the Viper, you put modern tires on it, it's just a little pussycat. Like, it's fine, it's okay.
Wow. It
was tire technology back in the day that made cars super hairy, and you put a modern tire on something with power now, and it handles great.
Yep.
So that's, I mean, combine that with all the other tech that's going on here in the background that just makes this a wonderful driving experience. It's a really kind of a perfect formula.
Yeah. And people think I'm crazy for driving them in the snow. I'm like, the tires, just get some snow tires.
Yeah.
It works.
So you were able to get snow tires for this?
Well, not this one, but the SS1 LE I did.
You did, okay.
And the GC350 I did.
Cool. Do you know if they have them available for the ZL1 now?
I do not know. I know there was a shortage of them.
Shortages have been rough. Like, that was one reason why I bought the beer.
Yeah.
I couldn't find tires for anything else that I was shopping. Winter tires.
Yeah, they were selling out for the GT350, and I got them in like October. I had to go with Pirelli Soto Zeros.
Okay.
And I normally just get Blizzaks.
Yeah. Yeah, the Pirellis are good too. They do a pretty decent job. I had those on a Golf R this winter, and we did an ice race, and they did awesome, which I was really shocked at because the Pirelli's kind of a more performance-oriented tire.
But they all drive really well, like regular Blizzaks, the Michelin X Ice. They just do well. I haven't looked yet for this one because I'm like, do I get a real daily driver, or do I just do what I've been doing?
Just snowplow it.
Yep.
Well, hey man, thank you so much for getting in touch. I'm so glad we were able to connect. It was really kind of funny how it all happened. I was at MRT the other day. We were talking about their Camaro exhaust, and I have needed to get into a ZL1 for quite a while. And I'm just really glad you sent me a message, and I saw it. I usually don't check a lot of my DMs, so it just worked out great.
Okay, we are done driving. Thank you very much, Chris, for showing me how my car is supposed to be driven. This guy is a pro, man. I don't know if you guys know, but he's a pro. I wish I had the G-force meter on there like the PDR. Don't have that, but man, that thing would have been way out there.
I'm a little dizzy.
I
G-force meter.
need a barf bag, man.
Yeah.
He can handle this car so well. I need to get professional lessons. Help me, please.
Yeah, we can do something.
All right, man. That's great, because I love this car even more now. So thank you for showing me how to drive my car.
My pleasure.
I'm just about to go home and I'm floating on cloud nine because I didn't know my car could do all that stuff. I learned some new things with the drive mode, so I got some things I got to do in the future. So hope you all enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, browse the channel, and I will check you all out on the next video. Peace out.